Hey guys, welcome back to another review video. Sorry for the tight space. I want to be able to show you the toilet while I give you some information about it. So we got it installed and here she is. It looks gorgeous, it's beautiful, the lights look really nice, and it's definitely a high quality product. So let's talk about some of its functionality, and then I'll show you a short clip about the installation, and we'll talk about some of the things that you should consider and also some of the challenges with the installation process. So let's get into it. So obviously the toilet, in my opinion, has a nice modern high-tech look with an elongated seat, which makes it perfect for anybody. It has a stainless steel cleaning nozzle that's on the inside, so every time that you go to the bathroom or you even sit on it, it washes itself and cleans itself, which is nice. The soft closing lid and seat are also nice. They can be done by hand. They can also be opened up by pushing this little button on the side of the toilet with your foot, so you got an entirely hands-free situation. So that's cool. It also has heated seats. So the seat itself has 3 different settings, and it obviously has a sensor as well. It senses when you're sitting down, so it knows when it needs to work and clean as well. It's got a really strong flush that's too loud, and it's actually very powerful. So it's definitely going to be able to push anything out of there that you got going on. The water saving system on it is supposed to be good. I haven't had enough time to really tell, but it's supposed to be energy saving and water efficient. The seat height is 17.7 inches high, and the toilet has a 2-year limited warranty. Let's look at the remote control, let's look at some of the other functionalities, and then let's talk about the installation. In a second, I'm going to show you several videos of the installation process, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview before we went into that. So one thing you got to consider is that it's an electric toilet. It has to be plugged into an outlet. I did not have an outlet in my bathroom, therefore I had to run one behind the toilet here. So just keep that in mind. If you have power, then you're going to have to run a power cable. It just has a plug-in, and you plug it right into the wall. So if you're going to have your outlet behind the toilet, make sure that it's low, so it's not hitting the outsides here. So the inside's hollowed out, which you'll see from some of the other videos. You got to make sure that that outlet's a little bit lower, so it doesn't, because you won't be able to plug it in if it's right up against the wall. Everybody's situation is a little bit different, but the way that my toilet sits and where the hole is for the drain keeps it very close to the wall. So make sure that you got enough space to plug it in behind the toilet. You may be able to reuse the flange ring on the bottom of the toilet, which is also in the video. I reused mine, it was fine. The kit also comes with a new flange ring, so you can use that as well. You will need a new wax ring, but it comes with the kit, so you're good to go. So obviously take your old wax ring out, it should come out with the toilet, and the new one just goes right on top. And that's what really gives you the good seal. And just remember the flange bolts, or the 2 bolts that hold the toilet down. On this toilet, they're not on the outside like most toilets. So you have to tighten them and get them in from the back. So there's an opening here, and it's just enough space for me to put my arm in there and be able to get in there and tighten those bolts. So just keep that in mind when you're setting all this up and you're trying to determine if this is going to fit. When you're placing the toilet down on the wax ring and you got everything set up, you want to come straight down just like on any toilet. So you don't want to move it around, because that wax ring is going to give you the seal. So what we did, my father-in-law was underneath, and he used his hands to make sure that the 2 flange bolts were in the holes of the toilet porcelain. And then as soon as it was, then I held the toilet up, and then I put it straight down when he had the bolts lined up. So bolts do need to be tight, not too tight, but really the flange bolts are just to keep it from rocking back and forth. So you don't got to get too crazy with them, but you definitely want to make sure they're pretty snug. So the flange bolts were a challenge, like I said, just because of the location. So let's talk about a couple other things. A couple other items to consider. So this kit included the pipe that connects to the hose as well as your water, and it's threaded similar to what you would use for a hot water heater. Now you can see from some of these other videos, I put an additional water heater extension on it just so that I can ensure that I had enough space if I wanted to take the filter off, because the filter needs to be changed every 6 months. It comes with 2 filters, but if I didn't have that extra extension, I wouldn't be able to take it and pull it out, so I had access to it over here, because I cannot reach down in there and unscrew that and be able to do all that. There's just not enough space inside of there. So basically I would just add that additional extension on there. Make sure that the plugins are centered. Like I said before, they're centered and low enough to where they're not going to impede on the outsides here. So you can actually have room to plug it in. If you're closer, if you're any closer than 12 inches to the wall, it's going to be difficult. Obviously, this is only a couple inches. I got 2 fingers here, so you definitely have to keep that in mind. You might need a small hand, a small arm, somebody that's flexible to get in there and tighten the flange bolts down, because there's no other way to access those bolts. I would say the installation process is more of an advanced situation. For me, it wasn't easy to install this toilet. It was very challenging, but everybody's situation is a little bit different. And because we had to run the power, and because of the limited space in this bathroom, it made it extra challenging. But I will say that now that it's installed, I'm happy with it, and I think it's pretty awesome. So, but anyway, if you guys are in the market for a cool toilet that flushes itself and has a bidet function and drying function and all the other cool stuff, LED lights, then this might be the perfect toilet for you. So just make sure you do your research before you purchase the product to ensure that the dimensions of your bathroom and where your drainage hole are going to work with this toilet. I'm going to go ahead and play a short video with a couple of the installation pictures from the manual itself, so you can get an idea before you get it, and then you can go from there. And then the remote just slides right in. So obviously the remote control, you can take it out and use it like a remote control, or you can just leave it sitting here. It's within reaching distance while you're sitting on the toilet. So this here will open up the toilet. This will open up the bottom part of the seat. This is an adjusted mode just for kids and babies. So basically it doesn't spray as hard, and it prevents the water from spraying out the back with it normally would if you weren't completely covering the toilet bowl. But it makes it really easy for kids and whatnot. So this is to turn the light on. If you push the button once, the basic lights come on, and then if you push it again, there's lights around the whole outside of the toilet, which I'll show you in a little bit. Water temperature you can change. Drying temperature, it's got a blow dryer that also dries after it washes. So you can change the temperature on that. You can change the temperature of the seat so that when you sit on the seat, how it feels on your skin, and then that's the way that you can flush it. You can also flush it. It also flushes automatically, so you don't need to be sitting on it. You don't need to push this button at all. You can actually just go to the bathroom, you get up and walk out of the room, and it'll automatically flush, and the lid will automatically close. So this is for the nozzle position, so you can move it forward or back, depending on how big you are and whatnot. So you can help line it up, and then you can also change the water pressure. So after you get your settings correct on this side, these are the only buttons you really need. The auto button does it all. You can also just use the bidet. Here's the drying function. And then the rear, this is just more towards your back, not as much on the bottom. So that about sums up the remote. Like I said, you can take it off, you can hold it, but I mean, generally it can just stay right here. The toilet also has these functions on the side of it, which I'll show you, just in case down the road or something like that, the remote, you lose the remote, you can still use the toilet because it has the buttons on the side. I just wanted to show you the buttons on the side. So if the remote gets lost, you still have the ability to do the rear portion, the baby option, drying, and the bidet, flushing, turning it on and off. Alright guys, so we just removed the toilet, there it is. So the steps we took is, basically we had to close the water off with this valve here. And then after we did that, we just unscrewed this from the toilet. And then you have your one bolt here and one bolt there. And you undo these bolts, and then the whole toilet can lift up. Sometimes your toilet might have been silicone down, and in that case it might be a little more challenging to pick it up. But that's where we're at now, so I'll show you the next step in a bit. Alright, the next step that we did is cleaned out the notches here and got the flange bolts out. So our new toilet comes with new flange bolts. So we'll get that installed with the wax ring and we'll show you what that looks like next. All right, the next step is going to be installing the flange screws. So we got the left one on and the right one on. So now we just got to put our wax ring around there and then we can put the toilet on. Just as another note, if you don't have power in your bathroom, you're going to have to run power in here. So this bathroom didn't have power, so we had to run this electrical outlet. So definitely try to make sure your bathroom has power because the smart toilet will not work otherwise. All right, so the next thing, we got the wax ring on here. Now when we put our toilet on top there, we got to set it on top and we got to press it straight down. You can't rock it or rotate it or else the wax ring will be knocked out of place and you'll get a leak. So the next step is important. All right, let me show you guys what happened in the next challenge here. So this is what goes into my wall, this valve here. This would have been where I would need to hook up to this new toilet. The problem that I have right now is this does not fit in this here. So now we're gonna have to come up with some kind of configuration to get these two to connect together or something else. So just keep in mind with this project, it's not a beginner's project and it might take extra pieces and thought and extra work to get this to go. So